There are moments when someone tries to pull your emotions like strings, moments when guilt is used as a weapon, silence becomes a trap, and confusion is carefully designed to make you doubt yourself. We've all felt that tightening in the chest, that subtle pressure to respond, explain, justify, to surrender a small piece of yourself just to keep the peace. But some people don't bend. Some people stand inside a quiet center no one can shake. Their strength isn't loud. Their confidence isn't performed. It comes from habits so subtle, so silent, that manipulators cannot enter their mind no matter how hard they try. The Stoics understood this long before psychology ever gave it a name. Control your inner world and no one controls you. Lose it, and even the smallest person can command your entire day. Today we uncover 7 silent habits of people who simply cannot be manipulated. Habits that build a mind impossible to sway, pressure, or break. Take a breath and let's begin. 1. The Stoic Pause. They create distance between emotion and action. There is a moment, subtle, fragile, almost invisible, where manipulation either succeeds or dies. It is the moment before you react. Strong people treat that moment like sacred ground. Most people react instantly. They defend themselves, they raise their voice, they explain too much. The manipulator doesn't even need to be skilled. Your automatic reaction hands them your emotions on a silver platter. The moment you let someone rush you, you are no longer choosing your response. You are inheriting theirs. But people who cannot be manipulated do something different. They pause, they breathe, they create a small, quiet distance between what was said to them and what they choose to do next. That pause terrifies manipulators. They cannot read it, cannot predict it, cannot rush it. It breaks the rhythm they need to control you. Suddenly, you hold the tempo of the conversation, not them. Silence becomes your shield. Stillness becomes your clarity. The Stoics knew the power of this gap. They believed no person controls your mind unless you hand them the keys yourself. A pause is not weakness. It is the reclaiming of those keys. It is a reminder that you do not belong to anyone's expectations, pressures, or emotional storms. Imagine someone throwing guilt at you. I guess you don't care about me. Most people scramble to fix the moment. They plead, they explain, they apologize for things they're not even responsible for. And with every rushed reaction, the manipulator tightens the leash. But a person trained in stoic stillness does something entirely different. They let the guilt hover in the air without absorbing it. They pause, they breathe, and in that breath, they separate what belongs to them from what belongs to the other person. That tiny moment becomes a psychological reset. It breaks emotional momentum, it dissolves urgency, it reveals intention. Often, in the space of that pause, manipulators begin talking more. They explain, correct, overshare. And in doing so, they expose their agenda. Their need for control becomes visible. Their tactics lose strength. Their emotional hooks fall flat. A pause is not doing nothing. It is observing. It is collecting your mind. It is choosing intention over impulse. People who cannot be manipulated understand this truth deeply. If someone can control your reactions, they do not need to control anything else. Your reactions will build the prison for you, so they refuse to give that power away. They build the habit of slowing the world inside them. Even when the world outside moves fast, they breathe within the storm and respond from its center. Their silence is not passive. It is deliberate self-protection. It is emotional sovereignty. It is the first line of defense against anyone who tries to bend their will. A pause is where freedom begins. A calm breath is where manipulation ends. 2. They don't explain themselves excessively. Emotional minimalism. Manipulation thrives on people who talk too much. It feeds on over-explanations, justifications, and constant attempts to prove goodness. The more you reveal, the more someone with the wrong intentions can use your words against you. People who cannot be manipulated understand one unshakable truth: your life does not require permission. When someone demands explanations you do not owe, silence becomes a declaration of self-respect. Most people explain because they fear being misunderstood. They want others to see their intentions, their heart, their effort. But manipulators twist that fear like a blade. They poke holes in your sentences. They stretch your words into meanings you never intended. They keep you talking until you forget that you are allowed to stop. Strong, self-anchored individuals communicate differently. They say little. They reveal only what is necessary. They speak with the calm certainty of someone who does not need validation. Their sentences are short, clean, and free of emotional bargaining. That doesn't work for me. I've made my decision. I prefer not to discuss that. No essays, no defending, no pleading for understanding. This simplicity frustrates manipulators. They cannot grab onto anything. Your brevity leaves no loose threads to pull. Your stillness gives them nothing to twist. They are left alone with their own intentions, and for many, that is deeply unsettling. There is quiet power in saying less. It signals that your choices come from within you, not from pressure around you. It communicates that you do not fear disapproval because you are not built on it. It demonstrates that you are not participating in the psychological game being played. Stoicism teaches that what others think, assume, or invent is outside your control. Only your choices belong to you. So why narrate your soul to someone who has no intention of honoring it? When you stop explaining yourself excessively, two things happen. You stop giving manipulators a map of your insecurities, and you stop living as if your worth depends on being perfectly understood. Imagine someone questioning your boundaries. Why can't you do this for me? Why are you acting this way? Why aren't you trying harder? A manipulated person hears these lines as accusations and rushes to defend themselves. A strong person hears them as information and responds with clarity, not justification. They don't drown the moment with words. They don't beg to be seen correctly. They don't bargain with their values just to escape discomfort. Their silence quietly shifts the balance of power. Their calm presence says, "I don't owe you the story you're demanding." This is emotional minimalism at its highest level. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. When you stop justifying yourself, you become difficult to maneuver. 3. Pattern recognition. They see motives, not words. Manipulators rely on one thing above all else: your willingness to believe the best version of their words instead of the truth of their behavior. People who cannot be manipulated don't fall for this illusion. They don't dissect every sentence thrown at them. They don't get lost in tone, excuses, or poetic apologies. They watch the pattern beneath the performance, because patterns do not lie. Words do. A manipulator can craft the perfect apology, the perfect justification, the perfect emotional story. They can sound sincere, broken, regretful, loving, whatever the moment requires. But they cannot hide the structure of their repeated actions. Strong individuals see the cycle. They connect dots others choose to ignore. They remember what happened the last time the same promise was made. They study behavior, not speeches. There is a quiet moment when someone with inner strength begins to detach. It's when they stop asking, "Why did they say that?" and start asking, "What do they consistently do?" That shift is freedom. Most people are manipulated not because they are weak, but because they judge intention using the wrong evidence. They give emotional credit to beautiful words that were never supported by meaningful action. Manipulators depend on that softness to maintain control. But the unmanipulable mind is trained differently. It observes. It gathers emotional data without becoming emotional itself. It sees patterns with calm precision, no longer participating in illusion. Stoicism teaches that clarity is born not from what people promise, but from what they practice. What a person does reveals who they are. When you begin to see through that lens, you become immune to emotional theater. Imagine someone who repeatedly crosses your boundaries, then returns with heartfelt apologies. Imagine someone who hurts you, then blames stress, the past, or their struggles. Imagine someone who pulls close when they need you and disappears when you need them. A manipulated person sees these as isolated events. A strong person sees a map, and once you see the map, you cannot unsee it. Pattern recognition causes manipulative tactics to collapse. You stop being swayed by sudden sweetness. You stop falling for selective affection. You stop offering second, third, or 10th chances to behavior that clearly reveals the truth. Your perception becomes your protection. Your memory becomes your boundary. Your clarity becomes your shield. People who cannot be manipulated trust what repeats, not what shines. They trust actions more than apologies. They trust consistency more than charm. And because of that, no one can pull them into a story that isn't real. They move through life with eyes that see quietly, deeply, unmistakably. 4. Boundaries spoken softly. They say no without noise. Manipulators don't fear anger. They fear calm clarity. They fear boundaries that arrive without shaking hands, raised voices, or emotional desperation. Boundaries that are quiet, firm, and immovable. Most people believe boundaries must be loud to be respected. They think they must explain, justify, and convince others why the boundary is reasonable. But the moment you defend your limits, you begin to surrender them. A boundary over-explained becomes a negotiation. And manipulators love negotiations. They stretch, twist, and test until your no becomes a reluctant yes. People who cannot be manipulated understand something different. They deliver boundaries with simplicity, no drama, no apologies, no long paragraphs seeking sympathy. A quiet no carries more authority than a trembling explanation. A calm, "I won't be doing that," ends the game before it starts. This kind of boundary is powerful because it refuses emotional hooks. It offers no weakness to press, no defensiveness to exploit, no insecurity to weaponize. Your calm becomes a wall they cannot climb. Imagine someone pressuring you to carry their emotions or pushing you to say yes to something that drains you. The old version of you might rush into explanations. "I'm tired. I wish I could. Maybe next week." Each softening opens a door. The stronger version of you responds differently. "That doesn't work for me. I'm not available for that. I'll have to pass." Short, neutral, final. Then you let silence do the rest. The silence after a boundary reveals everything. If someone respects you, they accept it. If someone wants control, they push harder. That push tells you all you need to know. Stoicism teaches that honor is not proven by pleasing others, but by alignment with your values. When you say no without guilt, without fear, without over-explaining, you choose virtue over people-pleasing. You choose integrity over comfort. This quiet strength confuses manipulators. They expect you to fold. They expect you to fear disappointing them. They expect self-doubt. Instead, you stand steady, an unmoving center that cannot be guilted or emotionally bullied. Calm boundaries are a mirror. They show others who they are. They show you who you are becoming. And the person you are becoming refuses to shrink to make space for someone else's control. Someone who chooses discomfort over self-abandonment. Someone who can walk away before their peace is taken. A quiet boundary is not just a sentence, it is a declaration of self-respect, and that is something no manipulator can penetrate. 5. They are friends with silence, and silence terrifies manipulators. Silence makes most people uncomfortable. It exposes insecurity, it reveals motives, it forces truth to rise without a single word. That is exactly why manipulators cannot fight it. Most people rush to fill silence. They explain, they soften their tone, they backpedal, they apologize for things they didn't do wrong. They try to rescue the moment from discomfort. And without realizing it, they surrender control of the emotional pace. But people who cannot be manipulated relate to silence differently. They don't fear it, they don't rush it, they don't escape its intensity. They sit within it as if it belongs to them. To them, silence is not empty. It is a mirror, a filter, a truth detector. When someone pressures them into a choice, silence becomes protection. When guilt is used against them, silence becomes refusal. When an impulsive answer is demanded, silence becomes a boundary. Manipulators hate silence because it strips away their advantage. They depend on emotional speed, fast reactions, quick guilt, instant confusion. Silence destroys that tempo. It forces them to reveal their real intentions because they can no longer hide behind your emotional responses. Imagine someone trying to corner you with, "Well, aren't you going to say something?" The old version of you might rush in with explanations, desperate to relieve the tension. The stronger version lets the question hang unanswered. You breathe, you wait, you watch them feel the pressure they created. Silence is not passive. It is an active decision to refuse participation in manipulation. The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that inner stillness is the foundation of outer strength. A person who can hold silence can hold power. A person who cannot hold silence cannot fully hold themselves. Silence reveals desperation. Silence exposes entitlement. Silence causes manipulative tactics to collapse because they rely on your emotional reaction and you are no longer offering it. The moment you stop rushing to fill the space, your perception sharpens. You notice the twitch in their expression. You hear the slight panic in their tone. You see the cracks in their story because silence has turned the spotlight back onto them. And without saying a word, your silence communicates confidence. It signals emotional self-possession. It shows that you are not someone who can be pushed, cornered, or controlled. When mastered, silence becomes a sanctuary inside you, a place manipulators cannot enter. And when you can sit in that space without fear, without rushing, without apologizing, you move through the world untouched by the noise of other people's intentions. Your quiet becomes stronger than their chaos. 6. They don't seek clarity, they demand it. Confusion is one of the oldest tools of manipulation. When someone cannot control your strength, they try to control your understanding. They blur lines, they complicate simple things, they speak in circles because a confused mind becomes a compliant one. People who cannot be manipulated refuse to operate in fog. They cut through ambiguity with precise questions that expose reality. They do not chase clarity, they create it. Most manipulation survives because people are too polite to ask direct questions. They don't want to seem confrontational. They don't want to create awkwardness. They don't want to risk upsetting someone. Manipulators thrive in that politeness. They hide intentions behind half answers, vague promises, and emotional smokescreens. Strong individuals break this spell with a single move. They bring light to the fog. They look someone in the eye and ask calmly, "What exactly do you mean? What are you asking from me? What is your intention here? Where is this conversation going?" These questions disarm manipulators instantly. They are unprepared for someone who refuses to be guided by emotional momentum. unprepared for someone who demands coherence, unprepared for someone who thinks independently. When you demand clarity, you force the other person into a position where their motives must surface. They can no longer steer the conversation using pressure or guilt. They can no longer hide behind implication or tone. They must either answer honestly or reveal themselves through avoidance. That revelation is invaluable. Stoicism teaches that uncertainty is not something you wait for others to resolve. It is something you resolve with your own mind. A Stoic does not wander in emotional darkness, hoping someone else provides direction. A Stoic steps forward and lights the torch themselves. Manipulators rely on your hesitation, the fear that asking for clarity makes you difficult, demanding, or cold. But clarity is not cruelty. Clarity is respect for yourself. Clarity protects your boundaries. Clarity protects your energy. Clarity protects your mind. People who cannot be manipulated understand this. Clarity is not conflict. It is self-respect. Imagine someone subtly shifting blame. Well, I guess it's my fault you're upset again. A confused person reacts emotionally and defends themselves. A strong person replies calmly, "What part of this do you believe is my responsibility?" That single question cuts the manipulation cleanly. Imagine someone offering help with unspoken conditions attached. A confused person agrees out of pressure. A strong person says, "Before I agree, I need to understand what you expect in return." Imagine someone who is warm, then distant, then affectionate, then cold, keeping you emotionally off balance. A confused person stays hooked, trying to decode mixed signals. A strong person asks, "What are your intentions with me? Are we building something or not?" Clarity either stabilizes the connection or ends the game. This is not aggression. This is maturity. This is refusing to live in emotional limbo. Clarity forces alignment. Clarity reveals character. Clarity removes manipulation, because manipulation needs confusion the way fire needs oxygen. Strong people are unmoved by mind games because they do not accept unclear terms, unclear relationships, unclear expectations, or unclear motives. They don't chase answers, they call the question. They don't decode hidden meanings, they ask for direct ones. And they do it with calm neutrality, not anger, not fear, not insecurity. A calm question is one of the strongest forms of psychological resistance. If someone reacts with irritation when you seek clarity, that irritation is clarity. If someone avoids answering directly, that avoidance is an answer. If someone attacks you for wanting understanding, that attack tells you everything. People who cannot be manipulated live by this principle. If something matters, it must be clear. If someone matters, they must communicate. If a situation is foggy, they do not move until the fog lifts. This is how they protect their mind. This is how they protect their peace. This is how they protect their identity. Clarity is their boundary. Clarity is their armor. Clarity is their freedom. 7. They walk away calmly. The final silent habit. There is a moment in every manipulative dynamic when the game collapses. Not when you win an argument, not when you prove your point, not when they finally understand you. The game ends the moment you quietly walk away. Manipulators do not fear confrontation. They fear indifference. They fear losing access to your energy, your attention, your emotional availability. They fear the door that closes without being slammed. Most people stay too long. They stay because they want closure, because they want to fix the misunderstanding, because they hope the other person will eventually see their worth. But closure is one of the most effective traps manipulation uses. As long as you are searching for answers, you will tolerate mistreatment. You will return to conversations you should have left behind. You will abandon yourself in an attempt to save the connection. People who cannot be manipulated have outgrown this cycle. They do not ask for emotional permission to leave. They do not announce their exit with dramatic speeches. They do not try to turn a toxic connection into something meaningful. They simply recognize when peace is no longer present, and they step away calmly, quietly, completely. Walking away is not giving up. It is choosing yourself without apology. It is refusing to negotiate your worth with someone who has already shown they do not value it. It is reclaiming the parts of yourself you kept sacrificing in the name of understanding. Stoicism teaches a fundamental truth. Your peace is your responsibility. No one else is obligated to protect it. And when someone repeatedly violates it, the most honorable response is distance, not confrontation. Imagine someone who constantly shifts blame, making you feel responsible for their emotional storms. Imagine someone who offers affection only when they want something and withdraws it the moment accountability appears. Imagine someone who rewrites history until you begin to doubt your own memory. You cannot reason with that kind of reality. You can only leave it. And strong individuals leave in a very specific way. They do not slam doors. They do not send long messages explaining why. They do not try to reshape the other person's perception. Their silence becomes the boundary. Their absence becomes the answer. Manipulators often return, surprised by the disappearance, not because they miss you, but because they miss the control they once had. They test your resolve with sudden kindness, unexpected apologies, or emotional performances. But a person anchored in inner clarity does not respond to attempts at emotional resurrection. They understand that returning to the same dynamic only revives the same wounds. Calm detachment is the ultimate form of power. It signals that you have stepped out of the psychological dance entirely. You have chosen a different rhythm, one that does not revolve around their moods, their distortions, or their demands. And once you choose this rhythm, manipulation can no longer reach you. There is a quiet dignity in leaving without bitterness. It means you finally recognize your own worth. It means you are done auditioning for someone who never intended to offer you a role. It means you stop watering a garden that refuses to grow. Walking away is not the end of a relationship. It is the beginning of self-restoration. You begin to hear your own thoughts again. You begin to feel your own emotions without being told what they mean. You reclaim the space inside you that was once filled with confusion, fear, and emotional pressure. The world responds differently to people who walk away calmly. They appear grounded. They appear stable. They carry a quiet strength that needs no explanation. And in that silence, they make the most powerful statement of all: my peace is not negotiable. In the end, these silent habits reveal one timeless truth. Power does not shout. It does not demand. It does not chase. It stands steady within you. When you pause, when you speak less, when you recognize patterns, when you set calm boundaries, when you embrace silence, when you demand clarity, and when you are willing to walk away, you become someone no manipulator can touch. Your mind becomes your fortress. Your peace becomes your compass, and your silence becomes your greatest strength. Choose one habit today. Build the rest. Over time, freedom begins within.